down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up low. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese is on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Yeah! Raring to go, let's go! All my scallywags, nutmeggers, conversationalists, young, old, in between, and my favorite people in the world, my haters. You are listening to Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080. I am hyped up, propped up, and ready to go. Before I get into anything, I want to give a shout out to somebody, and I want to show them some love. You ever see something and you go, damn, that's a smart idea. And it's funny it would happen to me. There are no such things as coincidences. I was talking about, my wife and I were just jabbering back and forth just about other stuff, and then my head goes to a certain place, and I'm laying out my T-shirt that I'm going to wear today. Of course, there it is, Fast Pitch Nation Park, which is up near Windsor. I want to thank the folks up there for showing me love. They brought the T-shirts down here. So anyway, I'm looking at the T-shirt, getting ready. You know, I lay it out like a teenager, like how things are going to look. And I'm looking at the T-shirt, and I'm saying to myself, man, those guys over at Grunt Style, I like those T-shirts there too. And I said, people probably told them, you can't reinvent the T-shirt. And all the rest of these other companies come out and they make the fitted arms on the T-shirt. Usually they're all there here flaying and all that other weird stuff. You know, but they reinvented the T-shirt. And I said, you know what, if you put your mind to it, you could possibly reinvent the wheel. Right? Conventional wisdom is bubgis if you put your mind to it. And then a young lady and her daughter showed up here this afternoon. And I was in and around the building, so they came by earlier, and they didn't think I was here, so they left. They ran some errands, and they came back. And the woman who came in, her name is Lori, and their 10-year-old daughter was there, adorable daughter who's just so helpful to mom. They came by because they wanted to drop off T-shirts. I'm going to wear their T-shirt tomorrow. But when I found out what they do for a living, I was like, really? Explain this to me. I didn't know what it was. It was just a bunch of sticks sitting on the T-shirts. Thankfully, Lori came back and explained it to me. And I also got to talk to her husband, John, who invented this thing. Folks, sitting in my hand, I know you're not going to see it, but you can check it out yourself. What I hold in my hand is a pencil. You may be saying to yourself, how can you reinvent that? I would have never thought of it. But John is a genius. And John, there's no such thing as a coincidence. Today on my program, I have two gentlemen who work in construction and contracting. And they're going to be sitting here in the building. And I am going to show them what you invented. Your company. Which, by the way, if you want to look at it, go look at handyscribe.com. Here's the genius of it. Contractors all over the country use a regular pencil, a number 2 pencil, a number 3 pencil, a number 9 pencil. Who knows? I don't know. I just know they use pencils. And what's the biggest problem with a pencil? The lead is through the center of the cylinder, but not HandyScribe. You can't see that on the camera, but it's on one end of this stick so that you can place it against the wall. So now when you turn it around, you can get right up against the 90-degree angle. It's freaking brilliant. It is absolutely brilliant. And it deserves a round of applause. Who would have thought? Again, it sounds crazy, but I'm looking at it, I'm going, But the story gets better. John who of HandyScribe is going to be on the program because I want him to talk about this. But the wild part is that did you know that there are people who cannot hold a pencil correctly? Because of this state-of-the-art design, there are some children, some of them with traumatic brain injuries, who have a hard time holding a pencil. This has been revolutionary for them. So, again, I can't wait until these guys come in here. I'm going to show it to them. I'm going to get them to give a review live on the air, John. But John's going to be here on the program. We're going to try to schedule as soon as possible when he can get some time off so he can be here on the program. But I just want to show him some love and thank him for the T-shirts. And thank you for putting this in my hand. I want to sharpen this thing. Just the feel of it is cool because it fits so firmly in the hand. I got it. Anyway, so we'll talk about that. We'll talk about John and his invention. Like I said, when the contractors get here, I'm going to hand them out a few. I got to keep one for myself because I'm not giving them all. But he gave me at least 6 of them. So I'm going to hand out one to the guys when they get here. So, again, John, thank you for that. And thank you, Lori. Thank you, your family, for supporting the show and wanting to come down here. Hopefully I get an opportunity to change your lives and get this HandyScribe in the hands of any contractor who hasn't heard of them who could really benefit from this. What a great idea. Now, Lori's like that too. Love ingenuity. How can you not? How can you not? And it's such a great story because it does more than just help people in contracting, right? Kids who can't hold pencils. Right, who can't write for whatever reason. It's weird, but it's reinventing the wheel. So, anyway, I'm really, really happy that that happened. Really, it put a pep in my step today. So, now, let's go. Matt says, ask John if he needs a tax guy. I will ask him. I will ask him. Yeah, OU812 knew exactly what it was. Anyway, okay. Let's get into this. For those of you who watch my video online, you know I was a little bit outraged about this. As I should be. As I should be. And again, I want to give a prop. You guys, I know that you're not a big fan of him. But I don't know, something happened in the last 20 years and this guy has figured it out. And it's Senator Richard Blumenthal. He's decent enough to show me respect when I ask a question. The rest of these bobos immediately get adversarial. Don't challenge me, dude. You're going to lose every time. I've done this for far too long. I've been in your business and I've been in everybody else's business as far as it comes to PR. Okay? I had to deal with the drug-addled DMX as a client working in public relations. Okay? I've done this for far too long. So when someone asks you for a statement, you better come correct. I understand when I'm being disrespected. And it's also the reason why I don't deal with people's teams. Your teams are worthless. When people start telling me, email this guy or call my guy, I don't give a damn about your gal or guy Friday. I want to talk to the source. Thankfully, Richard Blumenthal recognizes that and gave me a direct quote. Says, I don't know. I'm going to look into this and get back to you. As you may have heard yesterday, the governor, Ned Lamont, said this is being used to suggest that our voting integrity is at odds with the truth. I don't know who cares what he said. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody's asking about voter integrity. We're trying to figure out how it's possible that an illegal got a driver's license, a regular driver's license, and then made it onto the voter rolls. Who cares if he voted? You guys are over here searching for something to defend that no one's ever asked. We didn't ask you if he voted. We didn't ask you whether or not the voting integrity was secure. What we did ask was how is it possible that an illegal got a driver's license and got on the voter rolls? Can you answer that? No. That's why you're making about everything else other than what we asked. And so I called John Larson's team. And what did they say? They said, we will respond to the doxing of Seyo when we have more information. Doxing? We doxed Seyo? Are you sure about that, Representative Larson? It was us who doxed him? Have you ever seen Wayne's World, folks? Let's go back down memory lane. You might remember weeks ago, yours truly. That's from Wayne's World. Let's go back in time. Representative Larson, Senator Dick Blumenthal, and a host of other folks from West Hartford, outside City Hall.
I got a two-part question. First question. We understand that this individual has been in the country for 30 years, as you all stated, business owner, owns several businesses. Are we aware, and I'll maybe direct that to his son, do we know why ICE detained him? We've asked several people here, and they haven't been able to answer that. Do we know why?
Have you talked with ICE?
No, I'm asking you. You're holding a press conference. Don't make this about me. You're holding a press conference. Sir, you're holding a press conference.
It's not about you. You're not about you.
No, again, it's not about me, Senator. Representative, it's not about me. Please, you're here representing this gentleman.
We are.
I'm asking, do we know why he was detained? Can you tell us that? We're not aware.
Can you tell us why the citizens from Southington, East Hartford?
Let me just we're demanding answers from ICE.
Okay, so we are not aware why it was detained.
Only ICE right now knows why he was seized.
Okay, you do understand that that's important to the question of why we're standing here. We don't know if there was any illegality with this individual, but yet we're saying that ICE has done something wrong. So that's all I'm trying to figure out. Second part to the question. We're having press conferences like this quite often here in Hartford. So my question is, what do you do? Well, West Hartford, anywhere. My question is, what are legislators, what are people like yourselves doing to get people who have been here for 30 years, who are owning businesses, to get the proper paperwork so they don't have to be detained by ICE? Because I think that this should be a proactive problem, not a reactive problem.
Now, folks, all of those questions are legitimate. Why are we here? Who held the press conference? Who told us about Seyo? Who was the one that told us that we should be concerned about ICE grabbing one of their own? They dragged his poor son out there. Tell your story, boy. I miss my father. My father has been taken. My father did nothing wrong. You were pulling at our heartstrings, weren't you, Representative Larson? All I asked you was who is he? Why was he detained? Do you know? You had no answer, but you were quick to put him on Front Street. You were quick to tell us where he worked or the businesses he owned. There was not one camera you said, look away. Anyone who asked, you told them who he was, what business he owned. You brought out his business friends, his neighbors. They were out there. The woman from the Playhouse. I've been to the Playhouse. I saw the $1 Million Quartet there. I regularly go to A.C. Peterson's, the ice cream shop right next door. I've been to that community plenty of times since I moved here. They all came out. They put this guy on Front Street. If anybody doxed him, you did. Not us. You doxed him. And in doxing him, you didn't think we'd investigate. You thought in bringing out his name, telling his sob story, that the rest of us were just going to eat it up and nothing was going to be done. But sure enough, everybody did what they always do. Their due diligence, or at least we did. We found out, well, came into the country under false pretenses. Interesting. Got a DUI. Okay. We found out his restaurant had a couple of health code violations. I guess no harm, no foul there. I mean, people are just eating there. Now we got everybody talking about somewhat tainted lettuce at Taco Bell. That's a story. But the fact that the guy had health code violations in a restaurant that was supposed to be popular, I say with quotations. No danger there, right? And then out of nowhere, just a random search. Because if he came here under false pretenses and he had been here for 30 years and he hadn't gotten any legal status in the country for 30 years, what did he do? So on a hunch, like a bunch of great detectives, let's give it up to the West Hartford RTC. What'd they learn? They learned that the guy has a voter roll. He's on the voter rolls. Or at least was, until he became inactive 5 years later. Found out that he has a valid driver's license, was able to get one, of all places, at AAA. And you guys want to call this doxing? There's only one question, folks. Well, let me rephrase. There are several questions, but they all pertain to one thing. What's going on at the DMV? And is that a gateway for illegals to be put on voter registrations? Bigger question, is the DMV giving valid driver's licenses to illegals? I do not believe that this is irony, that the man that became the center of discussion in Connecticut after he was picked up by ICE just happens to be a guy who got a valid driver's license and a voter registration card. I don't think any of this is coincident. I believe that it was meant to be. I believe that it was meant that to be exposed, that we were going to get to the bottom of it. And every one of you, John Larson, Richard Blumenthal, Governor Lamont, and I don't care who else, the Connecticut Mirror, the Connecticut Insider, the Connecticut Underneath, the Downtown Gazette, I don't care who you are. You should all be asking one question, and it's got nothing to do with Seyo. The question is, what's going on at the DMV? Is the DMV got a gateway program for illegals to get driver's licenses and be enrolled as a registered voter? The fact that anyone isn't asking that question and making about anything and everything is a distraction. And I want to get to the bottom of it. So, you've been given your assignments. Get on it. Because if you don't, we will. We don't need you. You can make this about anything you want to. We're going to find out whether or not old Seyo was an anomaly or the beginning of something far more diabolical. And I bet you it's the latter. We'll be back.
Fan of WTIC? Then do us a favor. Download the free Odyssey app and favorite WTIC.
All right, we're back. Reese on the radio. We've got some guests coming in. They're going to be here in the next half hour. We got Harold Foley, Bernard Thomas, and Normando Moquete, I believe is how I pronounce his name. I'm going to try to make sure that we have that name correct, but they never tell me ahead of time. They just send me the names, and then I have to figure out how to pronounce them on my own. I think somebody's doing it to me on purpose. That's what I believe. I want to read some of the comments that are in here, beginning with, let me see if I can go all the way up here to the top. Scallywags, hello. Lori's talking about loving ingenuity, blah, 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 blah. Thank you. Party on Garth. People recognize that thing, Roland. Yes, you never see. Did you not see Wayne's World? Is that not a movie you've seen?
I was more of a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure guy than a Wayne's World guy.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yes. I would never think that there were two factions of people in sort of buddy comedy.
Yeah.
But now that you've mentioned it, now I'm thinking about it going, yeah. And I guess there would be the group that would be a Dumb and Dumber group or a Dude, Where's My Car group.
And a Beavis and Butthead.
And a Beavis and Butthead group. Yes. Wow. I hadn't thought of that.
There's groups, man.
A little tandem.
A couple of them you could put together, but I think Bill and Ted and Wayne's World are kind of different.
Oh, incredibly.
Yeah.
Incredibly different. Yeah, but still the same genre.
Yeah.
You know, I've never seen Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh, really?
Never.
I've only seen it one time.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Priscilla says, I recognize the... I keep saying I'm going to get that soundbite, and I forget to do it. Many people are saying that some things are not coincidental. I don't believe so. I believe that this was all by design. Because in the fast-paced world of debunking Donald Trump, people trip over themselves. Right? Because they're so eager to say, because why did they hold that press conference? You know, Susan Beitzowicz, Ned Lamont, William Tong, what did they hold it for? Because it was, what was it, Mickey Sherrill, who ended up coming out of this saying, this didn't even happen on my watch.
In June, nearly 3 years before I became governor, a serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state. When New Jerseyans applied for a driver's license or identification at the MVC, they were asked if they wanted to register to vote. In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote, but the software registered them anyway.
Now, are you listening to what happened? Are you not listening to what happened here?
In June of 2023, nearly 3 years before I became governor, a serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state. When New Jerseyans applied for a driver's license or identification at the MVC, they were asked if they wanted to register to vote. In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens and weren't eligible to vote.
Stop, Mickey. Stop, Mickey. Anybody notice the problem with her speech? I counted a hell of a lot of errors. Can we go through a few? She describes these illegal individuals as going in for driver's licenses, not drive-only licenses. Driver's licenses. She should have articulated that the driver's licenses that these illegals were getting were not regular driver's licenses. That's error one. Error two. She confirms that they were going for regular driver's licenses because upon application, the attendant asked, would you like to be registered to vote? Problem three. The illegal had to tell the agent that the illegal wasn't eligible. We should know that from the jump. When they go into DMV to get a drive-only license, you can't get to the illegal saying, I am not eligible to vote, unless they were going to get a regular driver's license in the first place. Unless there's some sort of crack in the system that doesn't see the drive-only or the regular driver's license as different. Do you understand that? This is gumshoe detective work, folks. Gumshoe. Encyclopedia Brown type stuff. That's a nice little reference for you, right? Yeah, some of you got it. Yeah. Who read that book? I did. I had to read that book. But I like Encyclopedia Brown. But anyway, nonetheless, this is all basic stuff, folks. Let's add one more fabric to all of this. Congratulations to the person who told me yesterday New Jersey and Connecticut use the same software. So, what have we learned? What have we learned, ladies and gentlemen? That if Mickey, Mikey, whatever her name is, Cheryl, can say, before I got here, our DMV was giving registrations to illegals. What does Ned Lamont say? The governor of Connecticut? Hold on. Let's get the quote. Let's make sure that we have the quote. We don't want to screw this up. I don't want to misquote the bozo. It's time that we get it right. Because they can't doesn't mean that we shouldn't. Let's make sure we get the quote right here. Let's see. The exact quote was, Connecticut elections are safe, secure, and accessible. This has nothing to do with elections. This has to do with the DMV. Drawing sweeping conclusions from one isolated case is as an improper generalization when state and national data consistently show non-citizen voting is exceedingly rare. This isn't about him voting. No official can guarantee 100% accuracy at every step, but that's why Connecticut has safeguards at multiple stages, apparently not at the Department of Motor Vehicles. That stage did not prevent this. So while they are distracted by telling you about voting, they missed the mark on the obvious. 6,600 mistakes were made, or so Mikey Cheryl told us. The number we found out the other day is far more. We're talking about some 37,000 mistakes. So in a state like Connecticut, if that software glitch caused that to happen, or probably just bad work product at the DMV, if that could happen in New Jersey, doesn't it beg the question, how did it happen here? So again, look, everything that I said is 100% abundantly true. Let's listen to Mikey Cheryl again, since I've already laid it out for you, every one of the problems that are here. Mikey, help me out.
In June of 2023, nearly 3 years before I became governor, a serious software error in New Jersey's motor vehicle system led to the improper voter registration of what we believe to be roughly 6,600 people in our state.
That's a lot.
When New Jerseyans applied for a driver's license or identification at the MVC,
that means they went for both an identification and a driver's license.
They were asked if they wanted to register to vote.
That means that the person working at the counter does not discern whether or not the person's an illegal or not.
In the case of this error, some individuals indicated that they weren't citizens.
So they were the ones who let the DMV official know, I'm not a citizen, I can't be registered to vote.
And weren't eligible to vote. But the software registered them anyway.
So the software said, nope, you're eligible to vote. So the software made the mistake. We also know that the software company said, nope, it can't make that mistake. It cannot make that mistake. User error. That means that someone registered them to vote. So if it can happen 66 times, and we now know 37,000 times, why aren't we looking it up here? Instead, we're getting this nonsense about, our voting is safe. We didn't ask if the voting was safe. We didn't make this about voting. How did he get a driver's license? He's an illegal. How was he registered to vote? That's illegal. Are you telling me that the software glitched it and said that he was a legal citizen? That he didn't mark that down? That was from the software that happened? Is that how is that the story you're sticking to? This is the reason why I don't talk to teams. Because the team is scrambling. We got to come up with a statement. We got to come up with a statement. We got to come up with a statement. And some bozo who's never handled a problem like this tells you something ridiculous like that. How about you go into the office, knock on the door, and say, Governor, we need you to say something about this. The DMV is compromised. It's really compromised. And the software glitch story ain't holding any weight. We're not done with this. I'm just warning you. We're not done. Because we're going to meet with some DMV officials sooner than later. And they already know we're coming. In fact, they're quite excited that we are. You better get to them before we do. We'll take a break. We'll return in a second. It's Reese on the Radio.
It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, back. Thank you all for your comments. There's a lot of great stuff in here by you folks. This is why I say my audience, smart, brilliant, and very much informed. But I got to give Lori some props. She says, I love both of those movies. She says, in fact, Roland, you'll love this. Lori Maz says that she was in San Dimas, California, and she tried to go by the Circle K. You thought you'd like that. Brett says, yes, closer to 35,000, but okay. That's why I mentioned it, Brett. Thank you for being on top of that. She put the blame on the previous administration. Good point. She did put it on the previous administration. But that's also my point, OU812. Listen closely to this. Seyo got a driver's license in 2018. Whose administration was that here in Connecticut? It wasn't Lamont's. So here we go again. An administration that had nothing to do with that failure can't even get in front of it by saying, wasn't us. Remember when I mentioned to the governor in his first budget, he took $550 million from the restaurants and then gave it to, and then put it in the general fund, right? And did not return it to the city, to the towns that he took the 1% tax from. And then he had the audacity to say that preceded my administration. And he had to be told by Susan Raff that, no, I'm afraid it wasn't. That was during your first administration. It's your first year and your first budget. Remember that? Yeah. This didn't happen on your watch either, but you're quick to defend it. Why? Because it's about Trump. You're willing to put your whole name on this. It happened before you. You weren't even here. So everything that comes out of your mouth is null and void. See how that works? You have no credibility in this. That's the whole point. So, that being said, what's it? What is this? Yeah, it's not. Somebody says that Ned would call it small ball. Hey, Reese, did you notice that the governor of New Jersey referred to the illegals getting driver's licenses being registered to vote as New Jerseyans? Yes, I did notice that. But then again, they refer to them as their neighbors, as part of the system. They don't see them as illegals. They don't see them as invaders. They don't see them as undocumented. They see them as New Jerseyans, like they have all the skin in the game. Connecticut's been corrupt, especially the DMV. Pay to play. Ask Tony Tolles, the CDLs too. Alex Q says. I don't know that to be true, but I think they should come forward and say, hey, this is what's going on. Hey, this is how we've remedied it. That's at least what they should do. They should remedy it. I'm stunned that they're not jumping on this. While they try to tell everybody else that the integrity of the elections is pure. Again, that's not the argument. But they are missing the fact that there is, in probably the most, I would say, important part of the whole process to them is voter registration, right? The motor voter rolls. They've been standing by it since the Clinton administration. And now they find out that there is a glitch in the system. They're not jumping on it. And as I said to you yesterday, which I'm going to do a whole Substack article about this on to come out on Sunday, they spent more time, more effort, more resources on speeding tickets An investigation that people from the media were all over from the minute that the accusation came out about the state police until the report came out that it was all bogus. They covered these so-called rabble-rousers talking about how racist the state police was in issuing tickets. And for some odd reason, we had to overhaul the whole system. Because why? Black folks speed? They spent more time on that. Here, the DMV, getting a driver's license, being registered to vote. Pshaw. Pshaw. Nothing to see here. Connecticut media is calling it a one-off, an anomaly. In the light of what happened in New Jersey? I find them funny. But then again, they're not serious people, any of them. Clowns, all of them. All of them. And they show it every time they open their mouths. It would benefit them listening to this show. They should. I know they do. But they should take half the advice so they can stop looking like a clown. I'm ruining your reputation. But I don't have to do much. All I have to do is repeat the stuff that comes out of your stupid mouth. You can't be this dumb. You just can't. It just proves the reason why you don't deserve to be in those positions. You don't deserve the office you hold. This isn't about you. This isn't about Trump. This is about the integrity of the institutions in the state. That's simple. And if the DMV has literally got a screw loose, go tighten it. This is only going to get worse. Trust me. It always does. Every time one story comes out, more follow. And you're going to be caught behind the eight ball, and you're going to be, everything you said is now going to be thrown right back in your face. So get ahead of it. Don't act like I didn't warn you. Don't act like, because when it happens, trust me, I'm going to throw it all in your face. And I'm the type of guy to say to you guys, I told you so. You folks, yeah, in a minute. Yeah, oh, yeah, and your credibility, you think is shot now. Wait till I'm done with you. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio.
Reese on the Radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
Hey, I'm sorry. Forget, I didn't even realize we were on the air. Let me get to these gentlemen here. I'm back here. I'm over here prophesizing and all this other nonsense. Let me get them on the camera here. I'm sorry, Roland. I should have been listening. Forgive me. Let me fix this real quick. All of these gentlemen are on the line here. I want to make sure that everybody can be seen. You're going to have to move this way for me, Bernard. There you go. Perfect. And you, if you could, Normando. Yes. Come over closer to, you're in the camera now. Thank you. And your microphone is that one there. And, of course, sitting in front of me is Harold Foley. You are an affordable housing contractor. Is that your role here, or am I missing?
More accurately, affordable housing developer.
Developer. I apologize. Yes, a developer. Mm-hmm. And Normando, I know I can't see you, but I can see you on camera. Normando, you are a minority business owner, Puerto Rican.
Yes.
You are president of a construction company.
I am the owner and president, yes.
Okay, you may have to speak up a little bit. Just come closer to the mic.
And then the owner.
There you go. The owner. What's the name of your company, sir?
Pinnacle Maintenance.
Pinnacle Maintenance. And to my right here is Bernard Thomas. Bernard, you are the owner of?
I'm the owner of Global Construction, LLC, and I'm also the board chair of the Minority Construction Council.
Okay. Now, the reason why we're here, there's a host of reasons why you two gentlemen, Normando and Bernard, that you're here. So I want to deal with Harold first. But before we get there, have you ever seen this product before? This in my hand. Okay, this is called Handy Scribe. We will talk about this later. That's one for you, Bernard. Hold on to me. This is look, I want everybody to get one. Give that one to Normando. Hold on, I'll give one more to you, Harold. I want to help out this guy with this invention. I'll explain it to you in a little bit. It's a pencil. Okay. Don't quibble over it now. I'll break it down to you. Okay. So let's first start with Harold Foley. Harold, and you got the receipts.
Yeah.
You are going after the Department of
Housing
here in Connecticut.
That is correct.
And in particular, the head of housing, and that woman's name is?
It is Commissioner Seyo Bruno.
Okay. And the problem that you have with her, because you are taking her, I'm assuming, to court for several violations against you.
Currently, we're just taking the Connecticut Department of Housing to court.
Okay.
Seeking permission to sue them.
Okay.
In Superior Court, State Court. And we've also filed a lawsuit recently against the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority.
Right.
That's actually in court right now.
Okay. And most of these lawsuits have to do with what? Your particular lawsuit, the first one you mentioned, is about what?
It primarily pertains to the disparate treatment, and in particular, disparity in funding that we've received as compared to some of our peers.
Okay.
And it's significant, to say the least.
And to sort of break that down, what we're seeing is that there has not been contracts given, allotted, or made available to many of these organizations. Is that?
Well, let me, if I can provide context.
Please. Give me, I want to give a
context.
Yeah.
All right, provide context. So I'm an affordable housing developer in the state of Connecticut. I've been developing property since about 2003. So it's been over 20 years. But in Connecticut, I've been here for about 13 years.
Okay.
Had the fortunate opportunity. I've developed 4 properties, 2 in Waterbury, 1 in East Lyme, and 1 in Waterford, Connecticut. So I have a tremendous amount of experience, to say the least, in this particular sector. So in 2012, I elected to start my development company, if you will, start doing development in the state of Connecticut. It's been wonderful in working with many of the people, with the exception of the Connecticut Department of Housing, if you will. So how this program works effectively is we apply for state or federal funding via these 2 entities, Connecticut Housing Finance Authority as well as the Department of Housing. They're 2 sister agencies that provide incentives for developers to develop affordable housing.
Okay.
And those primary incentives are such that we apply for this funding and there are caps in place. So how it works is typically the state would put up about 20 to 25% of the funding for any one development. So think of it this way. If we're buying, say, 5 tires, if we come up with the resources needed to buy 4, the state will kick in
for the 5th.
For the 5th, if you will. That's essentially how it works.
Right.
So essentially, that subsidy money is very, very important, if you will, because there's, like I said, there's caps in place, and the caps are $4 million, anywhere from $4 to $5 million capped per project.
Oh, wow.
And it's up to $100,000 for any number of units, if you will. So if it's 40 units, the cap would be $4 million, $100,000 per unit.
Understood.
And so essentially, we've been applying for this funding, and we haven't been receiving what we consider to be fair funding in this process. Have you been over or ignored sort of for other?
Yes. Okay. That's primarily where this is going.
That's where it was going. So we've had applications kicked out with no basis, and it takes a lot of resources just to even apply for this funding, to say the least. So one of the things I want to speak to is not necessarily the specifics of my lawsuit, but really what their improper funding has resulted to the state of Connecticut.
Let's go.
So let me tap into that. Through several FOIA requests, that's Freedom of Information Act requests that we've made of the Department of Housing, paired with audits that have been issued by the Connecticut State Auditors, through 6 to 7 months of that very rigorous effort, we've been able to connect the dots where we've identified over $100 million in improper funding going to entities that have an affiliation with the DOH Commissioner, Seyo Bruno.
Okay.
In particular, her former employer, which is Mutual Housing of South Central Connecticut.
Okay.
And so they have received this cohort of preferred developers, as I mentioned, have received over $100 million in improper funding.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to go through all of them.
You don't need to.
About 16, but I'm going to point out to some of the most egregious examples that we have here.
Okay.
So as I mentioned to you, and I want to just give you this, and you can read for yourself.
Okay.
Read it in what's in quotes right there.
All right.
Caps.
Highlight it. It says awards are limited to $100,000 per qualified unit, up to a maximum of $4 million per project. Federal resources will be available up to $100,000 per qualified unit, up to a minimum of $1.5 million. So according to, and this is, again, what the program is allotting to these contractors.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. So it's 5.5 in that particular instance.
So altogether, we're looking at $5.5
million per project, right?
So,
and we've had to stick with that very strict cap for all of our projects that we've developed.
Right.
And through my research, through the FOIA request, we have identified that DOH has been funding in complete deference to what's provided right there. I'm going to point out, give you some names of some very egregious projects. One is named Park City, which is in Bridgeport.
Okay.
It's the old Holiday Inn.
Mm-hmm.
The state of Connecticut, DOH specifically, funded 100% for the acquisition of that property, $22 million.
Wow.
Through no procurement process. The receiving entity.
You have this is documented to be true.
Absolutely. Yes, I have the FOIA.
Okay, this was all obtained through your FOIA request.
Absolutely. Okay. $22 million for the acquisition of the old Holiday Inn, which was transitioned into affordable housing. $22 million. The recipient of that is another mutual housing related entity. It was procured through no RFP, no RFQ, and no open process.
For those of you who don't know what those are, RFP?
Request for proposals, request for qualifications, or a notice of funding.
It's a no bid.
It's a no bid, exactly. So they just received 100% financing for the full acquisition of that development, $22 million, okay? That's one example. I'm going to give you another example. Another example is a property also sponsored by a mutual housing related entity, 43 units, new construction in Cheshire, $22 million.
Damn.
For 43 units. That works out to over $500,000
per unit.
Per unit.
You said, wait a minute, it was a limited here of $100,000 per unit.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Absolutely. So.
And you have evidence of that as well.
I can even show you the commitment documents that we received pertaining to. You can go see it for yourself. It's in Cheshire. It's under construction right now. So as I mentioned, so just those two developments alone, that's $45 million worth of all 100% funding for projects that have an affiliation with the current commissioner.
Wow.
That's an astonishing number.
That is an astonishing number.
Now, all 100% financed with public funding.
Have you been able to get a response from the governor about this? This is a member of his cabinet.
That's correct. We have not. We have not. And in addition to that, we have raised this issue with senators, several legislators. Senator Anwar wrote an op-ed piece in addition to a letter, which I'll be more than happy to share with you. Mm-hmm. Even the Senate Republican senior leaders, which are Senator Henry Martin, Senator Sampson, Senator Harding, also sent a letter to the Attorney General, which they have not received a response.
William Tong has not responded to this.
That is correct. That is correct.
So, if you don't mind for a second, I have to make if I could, I need to make a play real quick. Adam 12 is my manager, and he's kind of like my go-to. Adam, you know what to do. Start making that phone call or sending a text so that we can get a response from the governor today. We have a direct line to his communications person, and we will see if we can get a response from them.
Sure.
And let's try to get it. If we could, Adam, let's get that response before the end of the show today. You have all of this documented.
Oh, absolutely. It's all in here.
Okay, and this FOIA has been done, and I understand there's going to be a huge report on this coming up very soon.
That's my understanding.
Because the mainstream media has not tried to cover this. Have you even tried to get the mainstream media to cover this? And what was that response like, if at all?
Well, I did attempt. I met with a few reporters. They haven't taken it as of yet, but because it has been, there has been stories written on this in the Inside Investigator by Mark Fitch.
Yeah, Mark Fitch has done this.
He's done an exceptional job in covering it.
Well, the reason why Mark Fitch does these stories is because the mainstream media will not cover it. Now, do you believe, I would assume that you believe that this is an important enough story for the mainstream media to be fully aware of, because this is a member of the governor's cabinet who, in essence, is doing either something as a quid pro quo or pay to play or self-dealing.
Well, I mean, the self-dealing portion of it and quid pro quo, that's for others to determine.
Right.
I'm just providing you a narration, if you will, of the documents that I've attained. Okay. So I do believe, to answer your question, I do believe this should be one of the biggest stories of the year when we're talking about $100 million. And I'm going to lead to and tell you the ramifications of that.
Please go.
There's I'm going to just mention two other projects.
Please.
One is Richard Street, which is another project in New Haven, Connecticut. Mm-hmm. In that particular instance,
these places seem to have a theme. Go on.
So Richard Street, that's a very interesting one. Richard Street was a property owned by Mutual Housing of South Central Connecticut, former employer of the commissioner. The commissioner signed a note for this particular project back in 2011, 2012. That went into foreclosure, was in foreclosure proceedings with Key Bank. In 2023, 2024, within 2 weeks of that foreclosure proceeding being initiated by Key Bank, DOH stepped in through no open process and funded that project $4 million through no open process, no competitive process, all done opaquely, clandestinely, behind closed doors. That's the crux of the problem, if you will.
Yeah.
And again, going down the list, as I mentioned, spanning approximately 16 projects, we've identified well over $100 million of funding that was done in this manner. I'm going to tell you why that's so important and why it affects the residents of the state of Connecticut.
Please.
The state is in need, and it's been confirmed, that there's approximately OPM, which is Office of Policy Management, have identified about the state is short. There's about 120,000 units, affordable housing units, right? So with $100 million being improperly funded, and this is corroborated, if you will. Much of this is corroborated with the state auditors who have issued audits in 2022 and 2024 that has very explicit language in there. Lack of oversight, lack of accountability, improper funding.
These audits have been done by the state.
Done by the state.
Hold on. Excuse me. Adam, let's get Sean Scanlon's office in on this as well, please. If we could, let's reach out to him, see if we can get an answer on this by the end of the show today.
Specifically, it's the auditors of public accounts.
Okay.
That issued these reports in 2022 and 2024. So anyway, what's the implications when you have $100 million of improper funding? I already mentioned to you the leveraging component.
Sure.
For every dollar that goes in, that the state puts in, there's an expectation that $5 additional dollars ought to be brought in with private investment.
Right.
So with $100 million of 100% funding that has been done, or improper funding has been done, the state, in effect, has lost $500 million in private investment for affordable housing.
Right. Because the whole idea is that for every dollar that comes in, it's supposed to get outside money. But if they're fully funding it and not getting the outside money, the whole burden is on, in essence, that means that the state owns the property.
Exactly. And it's not the state that owns the property. It's the entities.
That's right. Okay, that's right. I apologize.
Those entities.
That's right, because they're
the
not
state fully financed.
Finding it. Yeah, that's a great point. So in essence, it's corporate welfare.
There you go. I mean, it's just taking state money, federal funding, and essentially just gifting it to many of these entities that have had an affiliation, this small cohort of developers that obviously seemingly have some sort of relationship or cronyism.
Well, if it stinks, it stinks. I mean, for credit, everything that you found is that you found a pattern here that
Absolutely.
these individuals have all had some association with the head or the commissioner for that matter.
I'm going to give you another example. There's one project. I'm going to give you 2 more examples, and then I'll just move on.
Okay.
All right? And I want to let
I think I get, we'll get them in the next half hour. I want this one, and then I promise I'm going to get to these gentlemen, and I'll give all the time in the need.
To show you how this is happening in real time, there's a property right now in Fairfield, Connecticut, 140 Bronson Road. That project is already completed. 91 units already completed. The expectation is that another mutual housing related entity is scheduled to be the recipient of that project, for which the state was scheduled or is scheduled to fully fund. Under no circumstances should the state of Connecticut fund that project until these matters are more fully vetted and investigated.
This sounds like a lot of money.
It is.
That the state is doling out.
Correct.
And at the same time crying broke and arguing that we need to either raise taxes or are not, in essence, alleviating the tax burden on people in the state of Connecticut while they're fully funding projects and then calling it building affordable housing.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to a break in a second, but the governor yesterday during the debate mentioned a East Hartford property that had like 45 units that I don't even remember how many units it was, but something that's going to generate like $45,000 in a million. Did you watch the debate at all?
I did not watch that.
Okay,
no.
I may need to find that to play that audio for you, because I want to know if this particular property he was bragging about is on your list.
Okay.
So, because he was claiming he was there with the mayor of East Hartford talking about it. So I'm going to find that audio and see if we can get you to respond to that as well. We'll get to Normando and Bernard in a second, because their story also sort of deals with the fact that minority contractors and construction workers are being sort of phased out, if not blocked out, of many of these contracts, with which Harold has already sort of displayed that there is a disparity here in sort of doling out those contracts or that availability to these organizations, at the same time screaming, we are here for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Most of the most vulnerable businesses that are out there that are pretty much hinging on bankruptcy is because of what's going on in the state. Yeah, these gentlemen are shaking their head because they know exactly what I'm talking about.
Systematically bankrupt.
Yeah. So I'm going to get to them in a second. We'll talk more to these gentlemen. I think we're going to need to do a longer break on this. I don't have another guest until about 5:45, and that is Jay Allen Jones's mom. She's going to call in. But I want to spend a little more time on this when we get back. So stand by. More news, more views, more with Harold, with Bernard, and Normando. When we return, it's Reese on the radio.
Spider-Man. Hey, he's your friendly neighborhood Reese on the radio. Right now on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we are back, and I have all of my guests here, and I'm going to make sure I got everybody's name correct, because I asked before they came on the air. They just send me text messages, and I got to figure out how to pronounce people's names. They're like, wait a minute, the guy's the head of the Puerto Rican some group, and his last name is French? How's that possible? French people and Puerto Ricans, they are. I've never been to France and seen a Puerto Rican or a French person in Puerto Rico unless they're visiting. I'm kidding. Yeah. Harold Foley is here. Bernard Thomas, he's here to my right, and Normando Moquete. Am I saying that right?
Yes, that's comes from the Dominican side.
It is the Dominican side of your family.
So I'm half Dominican, half Puerto Rican.
Okay. Oh, well, that's really interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very. I will get into that story later on.
It's a long story.
Let's talk. Let's start with Bernard. Bernard, the organization that you are the president of is what?
The Minority Construction Council.
Okay. You are very instrumental in a story that I read back in May of 2025, which talked about how minority contractors and construction workers were being sort of X'd out, if not blocked, from a lot of the contracts. They were supposed to be allotted some 14% of contracts, and I guess after review, it turned out that it was about 1.5% of all contracts. Am I accurate there?
Pretty accurate.
Okay.
What they have done with the set aside, they have merged the minority contractors along with the women.
Okay.
Which now take a bigger portion, which leaves the minority contractor with that like 1.5%.
Right. And,
that we're talking about.
And what they're doing it is, as far as an equity plan is, they're saying that most contractors and construction workers are owned by men. If women get in the game, we have to make sure that that equity goes higher. And what we found out was, in fact, in my interviews and my investigation, that there were male contractors putting their wives and girlfriends as the CEO of said company so they can get the female contract.
And it's been going on, and it keeps on continuing to go on. And in the beginning, we felt like there needed to be what we consider the clerk of the works, somebody to be able to pay attention, to go out and ask these questions. When you spoke to some of these women, they didn't even know how to run their business. They didn't know nothing about their business.
Right.
They referred back to their husbands.
Yeah.
So when
there's no vetting.
There's no vetting at all. And the women's business was in the same business where the husband had their office, and just utilize his office and just say, this business is under his wife's name, and going after those contractors, taking even more contractors away from the minority contractors.
The worst part about it is, and I have to call a spade on this one, Bernard, isn't it incredibly bizarre that a minority equity program would prioritize white women over black men contractors?
First of all, we're in a state where we are making necessary changes to be able to make things fair and equitable. Mm-hmm. People like to use those words, equity and inclusion, all that stuff, but yet we're not doing it.
That's right.
Okay? We're talking that buzzword, but we're not implementing it. And it comes from the top. Everything comes from the top. When we had a problem with Costa Diamantes, we told them about the problem. We explained it to them. Later on, it took a while, but later on they found out how dirty it was. And these are the things that we are seeing within the community with our various contractors. Contractors are scared to speak up because they're scared they're going to lose opportunities of work.
Yeah.
Can I interject?
Yeah, go. Good. Normando.
I just went through the recertification. You have to recertify every 5 years with the state, the Department of Administrative Services, DAS.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Can you believe, after being registered with them for the last, since 2012 till now, that's 14 years, right?
Yeah.
They asked me for a birth certificate.
What?
I said, I called the lady. I thought it was a joke. I said, hold up. Is Meg around? Why do I have to present my birth certificate? I'm going to stop being Hispanic?
Oh, my.
Like, I asked her to her face. I mean, on the phone, I said, I'm not going to change race. Like, what is going on? They made me go through the ringer. Like, they made it
extremely difficult.
And I'm a minority registered for the last 10 years or 12 years.
Holy
So
moly.
I just had to say that because it's still difficult, especially for minority contractors like myself, that some of us have a hard time navigating the system.
Right.
And I just want to interject with that.
No, that's fine. Absolutely. I think you should interject in that. Bernard, one of the things that I heard in this story that was blowing my mind is that a lot of these contracts don't pay out.
Mm-hmm. That is probably the worst problem that's going on.
Yeah.
And I feel like this. From the governor on down to the individuals that he put in charge.
Mm-hmm.
At minimum, if we come to you, you need to investigate. You need to check it out. Yeah. You need to come back to us with with the information that you gathered and a resolution on this problem and the situation. For years, you've been taking money from our minority contractors, and it constantly keeps on happening, okay? It's funny, when you want the votes, you know how to come and ask us for the votes. But when we try to ask you to come to our minority construction meeting, to meet up with our contractors, to hear our concerns, we can't get you. We can't get access to you. But you want to be able to get access to us for voting and stuff like that.
Normando, this is an important thing to you because a lot of these situations with not being paid has hurt businesses on the level of they go bankrupt. And the thing that about the bankrupt is that your workers have to be paid.
Yes.
So you're diving into your own resources to pay those folks and never seeing the contract come to fruition where you're actually seeing the payment happen.
Yes.
Listen, if you're putting out acquisitions and A1 certification forms in order for the GCs to get their money. Yes. You have the subcontractors funding in it. Yes. If you get those subcontractors funding it, at minimum, you got to pay those subcontractors. Yeah. Okay?
They're not.
But you're not. They're not. They're holding on to their money.
They're holding the money for 6 months to a year.
6
months to a year.
Yeah, the retainer they hold for a year, put in a CD account, and they make millions.
And they're making money off of it.
Damn.
All of them. I'm going through a lawsuit right now.
Do you think, now I got to ask both of you this, and be as honest as you can. If you never thought about it, you can, sort of go over it in your heads now. What I think about this is like, do they not seem to care because minority contractors and construction workers are such a small business within the state that they don't pay attention? Or do you think there's something else?
They bully you.
Yep.
They systematically bankrupt you by not paying you.
So they're using you because...
They're using us because they need we had monthly meetings, right? And they had to meet a quota.
Yep.
And if they didn't meet the quota, they would not. They wouldn't get certain credits.
So what?
And banking and betting on how they're going to put certain minority contractors out of business.
Well, I was thinking about that too, Bernard, because here's what runs through my mind, right? If you're a scumbag in government and you know that minority contractors are fiending for work, they started this business. They put it, it's a hell of a risk to start a business like this because of all the liability that's approached, that's in it. In order to do that, you are playing in a league that you're punching above your weight in a lot of cases.
Trust me,
right?
14 years I built my company from the ground up with one guy.
Yeah, and I get it. That's my point. So because they know that minority businesses want work so bad that they abuse them the most.
It's the greed.
It's the greed it's the scare tactics.
And the scare tactics, the bully tactics.
They'll tell you, you're going to be in litigation for 5 years. You're going to get 10 cents on the dollar. Yep. I'll give you this. And they give you crumbs. Reese, that's what they're offering me now. And I said no.
I'm going to tell you right now, our people are known for not speaking up.
I have 6 other contractors that are owed hundreds of thousands of dollars. Half of them went bankrupt.
They're not, you said.
It's coming on the report, in that report with Mark Fitch.
Yeah,
are known to not speak up. What Harold is doing is unprecedented.
Yes.
Okay? And I'm telling you that I'm here to support it 100%. The way I see it, the state of Connecticut should have been sued a long time ago.
Years ago.
I don't understand through legislative, through the Senate and the representatives, how are you going to put something in law and you're not going to adhere to the rules and regulations that you put in the law?
We're talking about that every day. We just did it with Aaron's law. These guys are legislating with the pen and never executing.
Never. And not only that, anything over $500, that's a felony. Think about what they're doing with these contractors. People should be going to jail.
And then they make us sign all the affidavits in the world. You can't.
They don't want you to. They don't want you to sign paperwork to put a lien on the property that they're currently working on. Meanwhile, they keep on playing with your money.
Yeah. They make you sign a lien waiver so you can't sue them, but they haven't paid you.
They're using the scare tactics with our contractors. Listen, they tell you that a lot of our contractors, there are not a lot of minority contractors out there. They're out there, but what they don't want to do, they don't want to mess with them. They're out there. They rather go private where they're getting their money within 2 weeks to a month and getting paid on time.
Yeah, that's what the young man told me that was here not too long ago. Dwayne was saying that in order to actually get paid, you got to do like homes and private businesses. You can't work with the government.
But Charo just came out with a new law, October, that any GC has to pay their subcontractors within 15 days. It's in black and white on their website.
The city of Hartford did that, and that program had worked very well. They had to pay. Once you sign off on the acquisition paperwork, you have 7 days to pay your subcontractors. Okay. Wow. But these in the state and other municipalities, these GCs are taking advantage, and they're taking advantage of our contractors. The contractors are doing the work, but they're not getting paid the money. And that cannot continue to
No, hell no, it can't happen. We got to put a stop to that. Let's take a break real quick. Thank you both, gentlemen. Yes. Well done. We'll talk about this some more when we return. Stand by. It's Reese on the radio.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Hey, we are back, and I have the gentleman here. We're going to continue our conversation on the opposite side. This is not something that we can do it in an hour. For those of you who understand, I know the way that we do things, but on the show, we usually move on and try to get in and out. But usually when these stories interest me, I like to keep everybody here a little longer. So we're going to continue with Harold Foley, Bernard Thomas, and Normando Moquete as we continue to talk to them about this. Because what's happening to these gentlemen is egregious, especially as Bernard so eloquently put it. When you said that all of this nonsense about equity and inclusion and all of that, the platitudes that these bozos tell you, that behind the scenes, they are just as racist and bigoted as the people they accuse everybody else of being. That turn around, they end up destroying these lives, and no one ever comes out and fights for them. Normando made a good point behind the scenes as well. They will nickel and dime you and say, look, just to get out of this, take whatever I give you. Yes. That couldn't be even, that's the part that makes me when I say mad, it makes me mad because, look, I was a former business owner. I owned a moving company.
Okay.
So to hear, if I had moved somebody, done the entire job, and at the end I give them a bill and they look at me and said, you know what, $5,500 is the bill, but I've only got $5,000. I can in some case say, all right, let me look at that and see how I can take that loss of the $500. I can finally write that off on something. But if somebody turns around after a $5,500 bill and says, I only got $4,000, somebody getting robbed that night.
Or $2,000.
Do you know what I mean? It's like somebody's getting robbed.
Yeah.
And it is not going to be me.
Yeah.
So that's the part that bothers me, is like, you ain't going to let me do all the work and then not pay me what I'm due. So this is the part that makes me mad, because it's the same people who are sitting around bragging online, on television, talking about who they care the most about, right? The people who are the most vulnerable. And in this case, these contractors, these developers are the most vulnerable, and they want you to take peanuts and say nothing about it.
Correct.
I am done with that.
If you meant what you said, you would make an opportunity to meet with the people and make the adjustments. The problem is you've been hearing these problems going for on and on and on, and you made no adjustments.
How long has this been dealt with in general? How many, 10, 15, 20 years?
I'm over 26 years right now dealing with this with our contractors. Over 26 years.
14 years from me.
Normando, you started 14 years ago, so day one for you.
Yeah.
And now?
Yeah, I've been, like I said, developing in Connecticut for 12 years. Are we on?
No, you're good.
Okay. For the last 12 years. And I wasn't even aware that DOH was funding such egregious amounts. We've been playing by the rules.
Yeah.
By the own written rules.
You're
to our own detriment.
Yeah, but you're under the impression that there's not a lot of money going around.
Correct.
And then you do this FOIA request and you find out there's hundreds of millions.
I was shocked.
You're under the assumption of equity.
So let me just put it in perspective. Like I said, it was so shocking to me. I've done 171 units, have had the privilege of doing 171 units across 4 projects. The total amount that we received from the state is $15.2 million. I did a comparison. Identical number of units with this preferred group of developers that I'm referring to. They received $55.5 million. That's $40.3 million more than we received.
Yeah,
that's the delta.
Yeah, we got. Yeah,
let's add the preferred GCs.
Right.
But preferred general contractor.
That's another side. Right. That's another side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in this same cohort of developers we're referring to, they're going to the same contractors for which they're speaking of. So it's all interconnected.
All right, we got to take a break. Thank you. We're going to continue this conversation after we get back from the top of the hour, so stand by for that. Let's get our first check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is here. He is at the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, sir. All right, Reese on the radio, and I am back and without a plug in my Radio. Okay, there we go. Anyway, we're back, and a second half of Reese on the Radio continues. I have my guests here. They continue to be here. We have more details on what's happening with minority contractors as well as minority developers here in the state of Connecticut. The guests are Harold Foley, who is an affordable housing developer, Bernard Thomas, and Normando Moquete, who are both contractors here and construction workers here in the state of Connecticut. I want to make something abundantly clear before we go to break. Why do we do shows like this and have these long-form discussions? Because this is not something that should be done like a flash in the pan. We get to the bottom of these stories, and we are here to get results. And these gentlemen are here not to exploit themselves or anyone. It is to get results. And they came to the right place. When I tell you we're going to get a response, we are getting a response because I will have nothing short of one. Okay? So we'll continue and talk to them, and you're going to hear more of the egregious nonsense that's happening in this state with the people who claim to be doing the state's bidding in the most favorable way. We'll get to the bottom of that. Another check of weather and traffic continues with Mark Christopher. He is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Hey, sir.
It's Reese on the Radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Woke up. All right, we're back. Reese on the Radio live with my guests. Again, Harold Foley, Bernard Thomas, and Normando Moquete are here. Let me get everybody on there we go. I'll make sure everybody's on the screen here. So make sure that we get to all of this information. So we are going to ask the governor's office, Harold, about the FOIA information that you received, which is a breakdown because Adam is actually taking notes now to get to them. So what do we need to hear from the governor specifically about? What would you like him to respond to? Sorry, I did something wrong. There you go.
I think there's several things. I think somebody has to answer for this.
Right.
Has to answer for this. For the lack of the disparity in funding. Somebody has to answer for that.
Right.
And why groups like ours have been deprived of the needed funding in order for us to have these developments built effectively, if you will, while receiving 25 cents on a dollar relative to some of our peers. That's unacceptable.
Right. And we also need to have an answer to the stuff that you FOIA'd.
Correct.
Which says that the Celia Mosquero Bruno, who is the head of...
She's both the commissioner of the Department of Housing.
Right.
And also serves as the chairman of the board at the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority.
Right. And she is the one that is doling out this money to general contractors.
Well, to developers.
To developers. I apologize. To developers.
Yes.
Two of which you cited well over how many million?
Well, I have identified approximately 15 projects where the improper funding in excess of the caps that are specified in deference to their own written rules, policies, and procedures are well over $125 to $130 million of improper funding. Which in turn, as a result, has resulted in lost private investment in this sector of a minimum of $500 million.
Right.
And continuing, that leads to approximately 1,500 to 1,600 units that will never be developed.
Right.
Because of the loss of this investment, and therefore impacting over 6,000 residents who will forever be deprived the opportunity to live in clean, affordable housing in a state that has a need for 120,000 new affordable housing units.
What makes this so crazy is the private funding not happening. So here we have the state putting in what can only be described as 100% of the financing on this unit.
Yes.
The company that is getting this financing from the state is not being required to get in the private equity of money. In essence, for every dollar that they get, they're supposed to bring in $5.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that $5 is not coming in because there's such an exorbitant amount of money that's going in from the state.
That is correct.
And no one's being held to the account to bring in that private equity money.
That is correct.
So the state or the project is losing what's supposed to be a part of this whole system.
Yes.
Right? So
Absolutely.
that revenue's never being made. And then the only people who are on the hook, because, again, the government is a zero-sum game, the only person paying for this are the residents of Connecticut.
Yes.
The residents of Connecticut are putting all of their money into these properties. The worst off is, as you describe it, that the people who would more than likely benefit from these quote-unquote affordable housing units will never see the inside of them. Because they are not going to be affordable housing units.
That is correct.
We're also seeing that some of these units are supposed to be at a cost of $100,000 per unit made. The numbers that we're seeing is that these units are in excess of $500,000 per unit.
Yes.
Because of the amount of money they're receiving.
Yes.
Okay.
No accountability.
Yeah, and
No
no
oversight.
accountability and no oversight.
And you look at not only lost units, what about the lost opportunities for contractors like these two gentlemen?
That's another thing. So then,
it's a myriad of issues.
Yeah. So
pertaining to this.
So the fact, and again, on the top side of that is the fact, as Bernard and Normando were bringing up, it's not even the fact that they are not getting contracts. There's no equity disbursement of said contracts. But when they do get the contracts, those contracts are normally not paid or held up in some basic ridiculous litigation that holds them out for some 6 months to a year, causing many of them to go bankrupt. Bernard,
So that's why the state of Connecticut got that F grade. Okay? That's why they got that F grade.
Yeah.
And I'm not a teacher, but I understand when you're not educating and where you're not putting forward to making sure you're making a system better, you ain't doing your job.
Yeah.
And if you ain't doing your job, why are you here?
Yeah.
You're wasting our taxpayers' money. Yep. You're talking the talk, but you ain't walking the walk. So the problem is we need to clean house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if the people up top working their way down for the people who they put in charge, if you're not capable of doing your job, get out.
Yeah.
And these GCs need to be held accountable.
They need to be held
accountable.
Because everybody's in on it.
Yes. The money, where's the money going?
Where's it
if
going?
We're not getting paid. We're going bankrupt.
Yep.
Our families are not getting fed.
Yeah.
Employees are not getting hired. Where's the money going?
There's a trickle-down effect.
Yes.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
This is a serious issue, Reese.
I know it's serious.
A very serious issue that are dismantling small businesses that have the same aspirations in businesses as anyone else.
It's corporate bullying. That's what it is. Corporate
You have
bullying.
these men are leaders in their families that are being deprived of this. This is unacceptable.
Yeah.
This can no longer happen. So I have asked legislators, and I think this needs to be made specifically clear. This is what I would like to request of the governor. The following. All funding to the Connecticut Department of Housing is suspended for 120 days. You cannot fix the airplane mid-flight, the equivalent of a recall. It needs to be suspended immediately. Okay?
And it has to be an audit.
That's number one.
Right.
Number two, there should be a forensic audit of these activities that have been ongoing because they've been done clandestinely, opaquely, and to the detriment to professionals in this industry. Bernard has over 30 years worth of experience. Normando over 30 years worth of experience. Myself over 25 years worth of experience, and my team as well.
Yeah.
So not speaking about only my particular issues. In aggregate,
there's a lot of people,
a significant impact.
Yeah.
And it's time for someone to stand up and hold these people accountable for what they've done.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Number three, I already mentioned the audit. Number three, nothing further should be allocated, as I mentioned, until these matters are resolved. We would like to have, as a group, a serious discussion in terms of how we can resolve these issues. I have some ideas, which I'm not going to disclose, but there needs to be a serious discussion rather than the empty lip service that has been provided for years. It's time for legislators to stand up and fight for its constituents and fight for the professionals who all they want is an opportunity to participate in developing affordable housing. We're not building semiconductor labs. We're building housing. And all these gentlemen here, even the members of that group, are more than capable of performing and have the track record to prove it. That's what we want.
How many are these contractors / construction companies in the state? Are there a lot as the president of the what? I'm sorry, what's the name of the organization?
Minority Construction Council.
Yeah, like, how many would you assume are in there? Are we talking like at least 100, more than that? Like,
there's more than a few hundred, and the problem is, I would say more than 80 to 85% has gone through these type of problems.
Wow.
There are a handful of good GCs that are out there.
Right, I would imagine.
That definitely do what they're supposed to do, follow the books, and pay the people. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot of organizations out there that are clearly taking advantage of the scenario. And why? Because they know they don't have to account for anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Normando, what I know you're dealing with kind of a situation, so I know your attorneys are asking you to be very careful. And you've been you're okay. You're okay. I don't think you've been
I've been composed. I want to say more. So
I know you do.
I'm dealing with one of the bad ones.
Yeah.
They're in Seymour.
Yeah.
That's all I can say right now.
Yeah.
They owe me hundreds of thousands of dollars. I did 80 units in the city of Hartford, in the North End. City of Hartford money, DOH money.
Yeah.
So I was the prime contractor on the job. It's called North End of Hartford Affordable Housing. Mm-hmm. That's the developer, the owner.
Yeah.
I was a prime. I did 78 units. Okay, 9 separate buildings, all on Martin Street, Garden Street.
I know this project.
And Nelson Street.
I know this project.
We revitalized the North End, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
We brought it back to life. I was there for a year with all my men, all my equipment, boots on the ground. Mm-hmm. Got it done. Beautiful units. They just had an open house last month.
I know it. That's why I said I know the unit well.
Yeah. So this particular GC, just trying to systematically bankrupt me, and I'm not going to stand for it.
17 years you've been personally in your own business. So, you've been in the industry for 30 years.
So 30 years in the industry. I managed 1,200 affordable housing units. I started in Farmington. My office was right down the street. I worked for Metro Realty Group, 2 developers. They started with 100 units, and I left because I wanted to create my own piece of the pie.
Everybody does. Yeah, I know the feeling.
So I found an opportunity, a niche. I've done over 1,000 units.
Wow.
And in Danbury, and Ellington, Hampden, Hartford, Bristol. I mean, I'm known.
You're legit.
All the housing authorities know me. Okay, and I'm doing 30 units in Danbury right now, 70 in Hampden.
How many employees do you have?
Right now, I have 12. I had 15, but I had to lay them off because of financial.
Yeah,
stress.
Of course. You're getting railroaded here.
The bills are late, but I'm staying afloat. Thank God, and I'm here because I want There's other contractors that I have a list of about 6 of them that are not here today because I'm speaking for them.
Yeah.
And I want to put money in their pockets.
And there's a lot more than that.
Yep.
And because I'm speaking out, and I'm the first one, okay, because they picked the wrong Puerto Rican to mess with. I grew up in the hood, and I'm not going to get bullied by anybody.
Yeah.
And they lie. When I tell you they lie, they say, go ahead, yeah, the change order is approved. You do the work, and then when it comes to send the bill, no, that wasn't approved. Oh, no, we lost it, and we'll send it again. Or you didn't do this right, the paperwork's not right, we redo it. Or they'll wait 90 days to get paid. I had to lien the property to get paid.
That's right.
I had to lien. So I started in April. I didn't get a check till I liened the property in July. Damn. You know what I mean? And I had to pay a lawyer.
And you got people to you got to pay for a lawyer, and you got people to pay.
So the owners were like, "I need you to pull the lien." I said, "Pay me."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "You owe me over $350,000."
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
So I said, "I need a check today."
Mm-hmm.
The owners cut me a check that day, and I went and picked it up. Not the GC.
Wow.
The owners.
The owners of the property
paid me.
Damn.
Well, actually, it wasn't even. There was a loan.
Wow.
I had to pay back, and I still owe on it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, dog.
It's wild.
My attorney's calling me right now. Don't say no more. I don't really care. I have a family to protect.
No,
protect. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you. You have a family to protect.
Yeah, you got to protect
it. Count on me. I mean, they got nervous when I was, because I sat them down. I said, "Look, it's not looking too good.
It's rough.
The lights were going to go. They was going to have to shut down." Yeah. But thank God I'm still here.
See, these are the type of the things that are happening to our contractors. Yeah. And you know what? and a lot of them are walking away from jobs and not getting paid at all, losing their shirts. Yeah. Okay? And then when you bring it to the other people's attention, they say that they're going to look into it, and yet they don't. The owners and the states and the municipalities, when you have a contractor complaining that they're not getting paid and they sent in their requisitions, you need to ask why. It is a real simple process to be able to figure out why this individual didn't get paid or why they did not get paid. And if a GC puts that information in to pay these individuals, if a GC puts it in, then those individuals should get paid.
That's not happening. When I did 11 requisitions. Mm-hmm. When I sued them in May, I didn't do the last one because my attorney said we're going to court. All 11 requisitions I would turn them in on the 15th of every month. By the 20th, it got slashed in half.
Damn.
So if I submit a requisition for $100,000, I was getting 50.
You know, it's the part that I can't wrap my head around. Right. You know, and this is, I don't know if this, you guys are construction workers, so it doesn't matter what job you're doing. But you notice the part that's really, really sticking out to me is that each and every one of you are talking about one thing that we keep hearing from our elected officials in the state of Connecticut is that these are all related to affordable housing. Mm-hmm. And that's where all the scamming is happening to the contractors.
There's no accountability.
No accountability.
That's the crazy part, is that this is the inside track into the affordable housing scam that's going on in this state. We need more of it. We need more of it.
But
while they're scamming everybody building it.
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing. Yep. Okay. All right, gentlemen, I really, really thank you guys for coming in. This story is not over, and I promise you your visit here is not over. So we don't say goodbye. We'll say see you later.
Until next time.
Until next time, my friend. I thank you, Bernard. I appreciate you so much.
All right.
Normando, thank you for being here. Harold, absolutely a pleasure. We are not going to let up on this. I want to know every update. Yours too, Normando. I need every update on you, my friend. And we need to get people rallying behind you.
That's what
because
needs to happen.
we need a rallying call of people behind you who are forcing the people who are accountable to be.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Enough is enough.
Exactly right. That's right. These guys, there's no more rolling up the sleeves there, Ned Lamont. These guys already did that for you. Now let's get them paid. Let's get another check on traffic and weather. We'll be back shortly. Mark Christopher is as well. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
Stay locked in. Reese on the radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
That was actually a very, very informative conversation with those gentlemen. And even behind the scenes, it gets dirtier and dirtier, if you can imagine. The most important part about this story is exactly what everybody realized pretty much at the middle of the interview. And very much so, as I revealed at the end, this affordable housing thing is a scam. And there's a lot of nonsense going on here. I want to play part of the debate coming up. In fact, just after we come back from weather and traffic. Because Ned Lamont said something interesting when asked about the 40% of people who said they're going to leave the state in the next 5 years. His answer is telling. Also, the conversation he and Josh Elliott had about lowering cost and lowering taxes or raising taxes in the state. We got a message from, or at least a statement from the Connecticut GOP and Ben Proto. I'm going to read that as well. I understand there was also a statement coming from Ryan Fazio on this. He posted a video on it yesterday, but I want to talk to a little bit about that as well. And I'll break most of this stuff down. But it's, I don't know. It's astonishing the things that are being spent and the amount of money that's being wasted here. But we're going to get an answer to this stuff. All right? I'll take some of your phone calls as well. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Let me see. Craig says, Connecticut taxation without representation. Why is there such a huge push for affordable housing? obviously because there's a slush fund that's associated with this. It seems that affordable housing is a ridiculous price per unit. Yeah, I mean, when hearing that number that Harold just laid out, that each unit is supposed to be about $100,000, and the price point for some of these places where the money was being doled out was at least $500,000 per unit. That's unheard of. And plus that all of it's being funded by the state. Well, everybody's screaming, we're not taxing folks enough. If this is the kind of money that's being doled out by the state, I don't want to hear another thing about how much money we don't have. That's a joke. Anyway, we come back, we'll lay it all out, and plus we'll take your phone calls, 860-522-WTIC. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher is here, and he is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center.
It's Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Okay, unfortunately, I have some very sad news. Well, not very sad. It's sad news, but not very sad. I should articulate that better. Jessica Jones, the mother of Jay Allen Jones, I just got a phone call from her folks in Georgia, and she's just been in a serious car accident. However, they are listening now, or they will be listening shortly. I'll talk about this in a little bit. They gave me some details of what's going on. Just kind of pray for him. She's okay. She is in the hospital. I'll give the breakdown of what happened in a second. But she's talking to the doctors to see if indeed she can call in. I would usually advise not to, but this is something that she asked to do, not me. I don't want to pressure her. I didn't want to pressure her. I just felt absolutely awful. So I don't even know what to say. I just feel this woman doesn't need any more bad situations to happen to her, but I'm glad that she is okay. And, you know, they're going to do some tests to make sure that she's all right. So, Miss Jones, please don't feel compelled to have to call. It's all right. This is a serious situation. Getting into a car accident of this magnitude, you care about your health more than you care about me, and I know you want to honor your son, but take care of yourself. The only way that you can do that is healthy. So, like I said, if you do call in, I just want to let you know, no pressure to do so. But, again, we're with you 100%. So, according to the story that we were just told, Miss Jones, Jessica Jones, was driving, and a young lady in a Ford F-150 T-boned her from the side, pushing her car into a tree. And now Jessica is in a hospital. They're going to give her sort of the once-over. She possibly will get a CAT scan to make sure that she's okay. There's no sort of internal damages or anything like that. But they tell me that she's awake and she is alert. Jessica gave this young lady my info to give me a call to let us know what the situation was and that she was okay. So, like I said, if she does call, I've given her the telephone number, and if she's going to call, it'll probably be within like the next hour or so. If not sooner, whenever she calls, we'll take the call. But again, like I said, if you're listening, Jessica, take care of you. No matter what the doctors say, do what they say. Don't worry about me. We'll get you another time when you're okay. All right? And prayers with you, of course. You know what? Let me take Dan in Manchester. He's been on the phone for a little bit. Hey, Dan, thanks for holding on.
Good afternoon, Reese. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. What's up?
Well, the guys you had on, I can feel for them because a number of years ago I dealt with a glass company out Waterbury Way that I did a lot of work for at a mall, at the Army base somewhere. I won't say places, but they went 6-7 months without paying me. I finally had to call the general contractor at the mall and the Army base commander to get them to pay me. And they kept saying they weren't getting paid, and both of them said they paid their bill in 15 days.
So they
holding on to the money for something else,
how long did you have to wait, Dan, before you actually got a check?
The mall was 7 months. The Army base was about close to 8.
Wow.
Yeah, and at that point I was getting ready to sue them. I didn't care.
Yeah, like what? It doesn't matter. I mean, not having the money almost seems like you have to sue because you don't even know whether or not you're ever going to see it.
And the funniest part about this whole thing is, after contacting both places, they contacted this company to say you got to pay these bills. I get a call from one of those, like, father and son owned it. The son calls me up and he says, "Why did you have to call them and complain? Now we got to, they're saying they might not hire us for more work." You didn't pay your bill. What do you expect from me? You kept pushing me off, and then they kept calling for more work, and I was like, nope, not doing another thing for you. Don't care.
Isn't that wild, though? Because there are more people upset that you would hold them accountable for what they owed, but people would give you a hard time saying, well, we're not going to get more work from them. Get more work for what? Clearly, what, to not pay you?
You had the money on one of them 6 months, the other was 7 months. They had the money, and they still were saying they didn't get paid. I understood if they didn't get paid for the work or something, you send me something for my materials at least, but they had been paid in full for all the work I had done. So that's what really drives me crazy. But I'll tell you, with these guys with all this affordable housing, I hope that a serious investigation comes from the outside, because if they're not paying their bills to these guys and then they're giving them pennies on the dollar and expect them to go away, somebody above is getting kickbacks.
Exactly.
For allowing it to happen. And somebody's getting kickbacks to keep giving them work when all these complaints are coming in about them not paying the bills.
Well, I will go so far as to say what Harold was laying out, these sort of no-bid contracts to people that he believes that the commissioner is directly involved with. That's why he's asking for a moratorium on any more of these contracts and a thorough investigation into how these people got those contracts.
Yes, and the thing is, it's everywhere, though, in the state. We have no-bid contracts on the roads, the highways. They've got companies that have been doing the same stretch of highway for years, for decades, and it's theirs. There's no bid every time something comes up, and they keep redoing it. And it happens everywhere with the state. There should be ever again, no bid contracts. Everybody's got a bid. Sometimes you look at the lowest bidder and go, yeah, he might not be able to do it at the price he's bidding.
Right.
And you go with the next one up or something. But we shouldn't have no bid contracts, because all it is, oh yeah, the guy over there is going to do this unit at the affordable housing. He would have done it for 90 to 100 grand, but we're billing 500,000.
Exactly. That's that's the crazy part, is they are looking at their budgets, and if you are doing a no bid, or if you're doing a contract with anyone, if you're trying to find a way to get the lowest bidder of that contract, in other words, $500,000, and you're taking a guy who's only going to bill you $250, what are you doing with the other $250? If you're doing that because it's lining somebody else's pockets, that's the part that's got to be sort of excised out of the process.
Yeah, well, sometimes, and also what you do is you get contractors that bid $200,000, knowing they can't do it for that, and they're going to be putting overage charges in from the get-go.
Indeed, yeah. And that's usually the intent.
Yeah, and it's in the contracts.
Yep.
If you look at the contracts, there is, I forgot how much percentage that's automatically in there for overage charges.
Right.
And then on top of it, they can get approval for it. But still, who's approving $500,000 for a $100,000 unit? Which I'm telling you, I was doing building 40 years ago. And, today, you could build a unit for $100,000 to $150,000. You can do it, because they're not building 6,000 square foot units.
Right.
Affordable housing. They're building 1,500 square foot. They're building something reasonable. So it's not costing that much for them to do it.
So you're telling me that a $100,000 unit that's being built is about 1,500 square feet?
I would say probably, if that, 1,100. I mean, sometimes, you think about...
Well, 1,100 square feet is still a considerable size.
Right. But that's the thing. It's like you look at in Hartford, up on Albany Avenue, just before you hit, University, cut off University of Hartford, they're building all kinds of new affordable housing units there. They took down all the old brick, apartments that were there, and they're building all affordable units there. if they're throwing these things up quick and with the buying power that they have as the main contractor to say, hey, we're able to put all these together, they're going to give them some deals on, the majority of the materials because they're going to be buying enough to build 75 units. So they've got buying power on that. So they can't go back and go, oh, well, our materials went up in cost.
Right.
You start the job, you're contracting that.
Yeah.
You're not going out and saying, send me enough to do one unit. When we're done, send me enough to the next one and then decide what the price is. You're getting upfront prices. You're contracting for that just like you do your subcontractors.
Do you believe the gentlemen when they say that they're being nickeled and dimed out of jobs by these general contractors? In essence, they're, sort of being told that they're going to be paid this amount and then they're holding them up. What do you believe that that's happening? And if so, why is it happening?
Well, some of the contracts back in the day, and they probably still do today, they hold a percentage, and it's not 50%. I mean, it used to be 10, 15, 20%. They would hold it for a period of time until any, punch lists and the final approvals on everything and the final inspections were done on the person's work. So that way they could get all of the updated, like, say there was painting problems, cracks in the sheetrock joints, issues like that. They would withhold a certain percentage for a period of time to cover until you got the final inspection done by the building inspector and it said everything's cleared, everything's good, and then the GC went in and said, yep, everything's good, we don't see any problems, no issues, then they're supposed to release that money. Some of it is probably that, but if they're holding back 50% or more, games are being played.
Yeah.
But I did like the gentleman's statement. He goes, yeah, it's like, they screwed with the one Puerto Rican. I'm like, get him. Go get them. Because I dealt with GCs, and I know sometimes they're up and up, but some of them, like they say in the contract, they hide these little things where they can hold so much deposit and money until you get your inspections, until things are done, and and it's like, and then some of them, the payment schedules are 90 days, and then you've got, I think, 180 days for the next portion of it. Like they literally haven't set these contracts to pay certain percentages within so much time, so you don't get all of it at once.
Right.
They give you little bits and pieces as you go. They're all holding the money because the more they hold it, the more they make.
Yeah.
Investing.
Yeah, it's a wild idea. I almost feel like you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot as a contractor going into these contracts with these folks because, again, there is a risk that, especially if there's a higher risk for you if you're a smaller contractor that going through that process of the inspection and all that stuff that you're going to end up bankrupt because you're waiting for that process to sort of play out, right?
Right. And you got to remember, too, because now we have requirements for different race-owned businesses to be required to be working on these job sites, these guys get sucked in.
Yeah.
And the GCs know when they write a contract, they write a contract that's for their side.
Right.
Only. It's not helping the other guy out. And in the end, what's going to happen is you're going to lose all these contractors. They're going to go out of business. They're going to file bankruptcy. What I'd love to see somebody who's got money take over all their debts. All the creditors that owe them money.
Yeah.
All the people that owe them money. Take them on and say, look, you're going to go bankrupt. We're going to keep the company open. We're going to cover, we'll give you so much on the dollar, and when we get the whole settlement, you have to give us like they do.
Yeah.
The guys that do your tax settlements.
Right.
You have to give us a certain percentage off the end.
Right. Well, it's like a J.G. Whitworth.
Yeah, that's it. You need somebody like that. Because the minute they start suing these guys, and it's now, they don't own the debt anymore. We have purchased the debt from them.
Right.
And we're this big law firm, and they take on all of these at once. They're going to start realizing they cannot continue doing this. It's going to be to the point it's going to cost them more in the end because the courts are going to give penalties. It's not just going to be back, pay them his $350,000. The court's going to be like, court fees, lawyers' fees, and then we want other penalties because they did it, plus interest. And by the time they're done, it's going to cost them so much money.
Yeah, $750,000 by the time it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. I'll tell you, good luck to the guys. I hope the hell that they get every penny that's coming to them, and because they're not paying them on time with interest.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Dan. I appreciate the education. Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
You got it, man. Yeah, you don't think that it's one of those stories, but again, like look at what all these politicians are talking about: affordable housing. They're roping these guys into these contracts. Oh, jeez, it's all a ridiculous scam. It's actually kind of annoying when you think about it. All right, we come back. We're going to, let me see. I'm going to play this clip from the debate last night. Josh Elliott debated Governor Lamont. We'll talk a little bit about that. Let me see. What else have we got going on? I'll tell you if there's any updates on J. Allen Jones or Jessica Jones, his mother, if they let me know. So they have my telephone number. They'll probably text me. And, of course, we'll preview tomorrow's show on Friday. I know Roseanne has not been here all week, but she will be here tomorrow. I know you care. Also, the episode that you've been waiting for, Family Dinner with Reese and Roseanne, will be out on Sunday online. You'll be able to find it on YouTube and on Reese on the Radio. So stay tuned for that. Sunday dinner, I think we're having at Demonico's, or I think that's what it's called in Waterbury. I can't remember. Somebody's going to have to tell me. I think it's called D Domenico's. Oh, goodness gracious. I know I'm not remembering and I'm not saying it well, but I will tell you about it as soon as I do. They're now screaming, that's not our name. I'll get the name. Stand by. More news, more views when we return. Let's get another check of weather and traffic. Mark Christopher is coming back. He should be here in a second. There he is. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Of course, music news when we return. Hey, Mark.
Let's see here. Is it Domenico's?
Is it Domenico's in Waterbury?
Now I can't find it.
Did you look it up?
I did look it up.
It probably is.
Did you mean Domenico's in Waterbury? You were likely looking for Dominic's and Vinny's Pizza. No,
nope.
That's not it. That's
nope.
not it. Well, I'm sure if it's in Waterbury and it's Italian, it's probably.
Oh, it's definitely, because I was just there for that Italian festival the other weekend.
Oh, it's going to be really good.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, we're back. Let's do the thing. News. In music news today, happy birthday goes to Michelle Williams. She is one of the lesser-known members of the group Destiny's Child. She turns 47 today. Alison Krauss, the American bluegrass singer and fiddler, turns 55. And Slash of Guns N' Roses turns 61 today. On this day in music in 1964, the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, hit number one on the UK singles chart. In 1966, Frank Sinatra's album Strangers in the Night reached number one on the U.S. charts. The title track earned him Grammys for the Record of the Year and Best Male Vocal Performance. In 1989, Ringo Starr launched his all-star band tour in Dallas, Texas. After years away from on the road and from the Beatles, the supergroup included Billy Preston, Joe Walsh, Clarence Clemens, blending classic rock and fresh energy. Never listened to them. Never once. And a sad anniversary in 2011 on this day. British singer Amy Winehouse died at age 27 in London from alcohol poisoning following a well-documented battle with addiction. She even wrote a song about it. Her breakthrough album, Back to Black, had brought retro soul back to a new generation and earned multiple Grammys. That is your music news. And we get another check of traffic and weather with our friend Mark Christopher, who is back in the BPS. There she is.
Yeah. She didn't go.
Yeah. They tried to make me go to rehab, and I went, let me think about it.
No. What a talent, man.
Man.
She was only, 27?
27 when she died. My favorite song by her is Valerie.
Oh, really?
That is, Well, it's produced by Mark Ronson, and Mark Ronson, a very underrated talent.
Oh, yeah.
Is Mark Ronson. That track. Can't lose it, this song.
Yeah, and I think, are you going to D'Amelio's?
No, wait a minute. They did tell me.
D'Amelio's?
It's not D'Amelio's. It may be D'Amelio's, but I know I screwed it up.
Well, if you're going to D'Amelio's, the people that are rating it, giving reviews, say generous portions. Generous portions. So
it is D'Amelio's. Yes, it is. It's D'Amelio's. Look at that. Yes, that is where we'll be having dinner.
Generous portion sizes, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think we're doing like a family dinner, kind of like.
From politics to news to music to movies and anything above the sun and outer space and beyond, it's Reese on the radio. Damn, he's good. Only on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
All right, just remember, folks, it is always important, if you never get an opportunity to, go back and watch the program or listen to the program from the beginning. My opening monologue about Seyo and this issue with the Department of Motor Vehicle, that he was allowed to get a driver's license and then be registered to vote, is a bigger problem than whether or not our voting systems are impenetrable. If somebody could get a driver's license who's an illegal, we got bigger issues. What I'm hearing here, and I'm going to play this is this from NBC Connecticut? Listen to this real quick, and how it's being described by the reporter here. I think it's Mike. Mike is his name. I forget Michael's name, but listen to this. This is very important to sort of suss out, if you will. I want you to hear the description because Mark Walsh just sent this to me. Listen close.
Into the issue and how it applies here in Connecticut. Mike, what have you learned?
Well, Mike, this registration came through the DMV's automated registration system, and it happened because this man's driver's license application indicated that he was a citizen. Now, we want to know, voting records show that this man never did vote, but Republicans still want more information because they question if this is truly a one-off incident.
It doesn't matter. Republicans want to know. Everyone wants to know. You guys think this is a Republican issue? Is that what you think this is? I love the framing of it. The minute that you say something like that, Republicans want to know, because it's half-ass legitimate. You know, the Republicans are belly-hooing about it, so, normally, we wouldn't really listen to all of this, but, the Democrats are making a big fuss, so, we'll throw them a bone. Why mention it? The DMV is a system that all of us use. And if you're suggesting to us, which, by the way, I know you are, Democrats don't really care if illegals have driver's licenses. Right? Right? Come on, I'm going to appeal to Reggae Don. Reggae Don, you're in my chat room right now. Tell me whether or not a guy who came into this country from Jamaica in 1986, send me a text right now and let me know that whether or not you care that an illegal came into the country and got a valid driver's license, having never been a citizen. Tell me whether or not, tell the folks over at NBC Connecticut whether or not it's the Republicans who care about it. I'd love to know. Because if it wasn't for those pesky Republicans, we wouldn't really have to address this. And nobody really cares that Seyo got a driver's license. But since the Republicans brought it up, you ruin every ounce of credibility you have when you make it a partisan issue. It's not. It's not. You know what also isn't a partisan issue? How about this one? How about the tax code here in the state? Let me see if I have this right. What is Lamont? Yeah, Lamont was asked during a debate yesterday about raising taxes on the wealthy, which is what Josh Elliot wants to do. Here's Lamont's answer on this.
The middle class is getting hammered in this country right now. They're working harder and harder and harder, having a tough time getting by. The question is, what do you do about it? Josh has said, let's raise taxes. I'd say let's not go back to where we were 10 or 15 years ago. 10 or 15 years ago, they raised taxes 3 times in a row, and we resulted in deficit upon deficit. I inherited $2 billion deficits as far as I can see. And, Mike, as you point out, we're in a different place now. We're getting our fiscal house in order, and we've had some surpluses, allowed us to pay down some of the pension debt. Now we have the resources we need to make some of the big investments that will really make a difference in people's lives. Number one, what we got to do in terms of universal health care for everybody. We can put in place the money to get that done for the first time. And secondly, investments in education in the classroom, not overhead, to make sure that not just some of our schools are the very best in the country, but all of our schools.
Did you hear him say anything about lowering taxes? Or did you hear him talk about investing? Did you hear him talk about lowering the cost for anyone? I didn't. And thank goodness Mike Sorelli doubled down on the question. Why? Because 4 in 10 people are deciding to move out the state within the next 5 years. So WTNH's Mike Sorelli asked him about it. It went like this.
We want to stay on the topic of taxes right now, but focus more specifically on property taxes. A recent University of New Hampshire poll found 40% of Connecticut residents say they are likely to move out of the state in the next 5 years. The majority of them cite taxes and the cost of living. Mr. Lamont, exactly how much relief can you promise to residents, and would it be enough to get all those folks to stay here? 60 seconds.
Well, I will tell you, Mike, that during the 2010s, people were leaving. We're adding people to the state of Connecticut. We added 23,000 people last year. What we need is housing. We need places for people to live. That's what's going on. Look, taxes is one of many factors. Our income tax is one of the highest in the country. Not the highest. It would be almost the highest if Josh has his way. Our sales tax is about average. Our property tax is heavy. That's why I've increased municipal aid. I've increased education cost-sharing formula every year that I have been here, trying to do everything we can. I'll tell you something else. There are other ways that you can bring down property taxes. I was in East Hartford the other day with a mayor. They had an old lot. That old lot was not doing much, generated maybe $40,000 a year in property tax. We're putting up 250 new homes on that lot. That will generate $4.5 million in new taxes. So yes, more subsidies from the state is part of the answer to bring down property tax, but there are other things we're doing to expand the economic pie and make sure it's affordable for everybody.
What did you hear in that, folks? Did you hear the governor say that he was going to work to keep those 4 in 10 in the state in the next 5 years by lowering their taxes or lowering part of the reason why they don't want to stay? No. He said, we're going to build more affordable housing so that we can spread the amount of people who are paying taxes. In essence, we're going to lower your taxes by putting more tax burden on others. That means the more people will just keep the taxes where they are. Once we get more people and we'll tax them at the same rate, we'll have enough money to pay for whatever else it is that would. No, he has no plan to lower taxes. But I want to go one step further before I go to break. I want to go one step further. You want to hear something crazy? This is wild. So after the TNH debate yesterday, they did a poll on who won the debate. And this one's going to hurt a little bit, especially to those who said, Reese, what are you talking about? Apparently nothing. Apparently, Reese on the radio knows nothing. Based upon the available metrics right now, there is no clear scientific winner, but the limited public reaction to the data says that the winner of last night's debate was Josh Elliot. But that's not all. According to that data, WTNH tried to tell us that the margin was slim. It is not. According to WTNH in its own survey, unscientific as it may be, Elliot won the debate 64-27. I say again, Josh Elliott was ranked 64% to Lamont's 27% in the debate last night. There were plenty of people during that debate said that they wanted to vote for Lamont, but they are now throwing their support towards Elliot. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Could it be rigged? I don't know. I really don't know. But I watch some of the online stuff, people chatting. A lot of progressives out there saying Lamont has lost this curveball. And I'll tell you, it probably didn't help. It probably didn't help when Governor Lamont said, when asked who he wanted to be the 2028 candidate for the Democrats, and he said, I have a good friend named Chris Murphy. Wait a minute. Hold on. If that couldn't be more emblematic of how out of touch Ned Lamont is. A poll came out this morning that was in the CT Capital report that said that Chris Murphy has been kicked out of all polling data to run for president in 2028. On the night that Governor Lamont chooses Christopher Murphy to be the next candidate in 2028, new polling data says, get out of here. But if I may, and I really didn't want to go here, but I have to. I want all of you to drive your attention to WTNH right now. I need you to go right now. If you can't go to the website, I want you to go to their page and go see the pictures of that debate. Someone has got to explain to me. I don't know who's going to explain it, but someone must explain this. Why did your boy Ned Lamont have a spray tan on yesterday? Anybody want to tell me? Orange man, bad. Yo, did you see this guy? Listen to me. Ned Lamont is height. He is New England height. Ned Lamont is Bill Clinton wearing shorts, running to McDonald's in the 90s. Height. And he had bronzer on last night during the debate. Like we didn't see him yesterday. He was pink as a pinky toe any other day, but last night he was all bronzed up. Please don't tell me it was the lighting, because I saw Josh Elliott right next to him. Josh Elliott did not have the Ross Geller from Friends tan on his face last night, but Ned Lamont did. And I also have to give props because, appropriate as they are, they asked them, is Donald Trump too old? And Ned Lamont said, no, he's not too old. No, he's not too old. Please don't look at me. Please don't look at me. And I got to give props to Josh Elliott. He said, I love Rosa DeLauro. Of course I love Rosa DeLauro. Do I want her to say? Absolutely. But she's too old. That took guts. That took guts. And I do understand that Rosa DeLauro responded by saying, I'll get you my pretty little dog. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. I gotta go. We gotta go. Bye.
The Odyssey app lets you jump back to the moments you missed from WTIC News Talk 1080. Download the free Odyssey app, search WTIC News Talk 1080, and tap earlier today to get started.
All right, back, Reese on the radio. Make sure you do exactly as the big voice said. Check out WTIC.com, download the Odyssey app, or go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com so you can check out the program. I want to give another shout-out to our good friends Lori and John over at HandyScribe. You can find them at handyscribe.com. And what this is in my hand is a pencil. Trust me, go to the website. You'll see it right there. And so I had Bernard and why am I forgetting his name now? Goodness gracious, Normando. Bernard and Normando here, and I each gave them one to leave with. And even Bernard put it in his hand and was holding it. It was like, oh yeah, man, this is like a much better way to hold the style of the pencil. It's absolutely cool. And it doesn't put that much pressure on it. This is a brilliant idea. So check them out. We're going to have John and more than likely Lori, his wife, on the program as well. Check them out if you're into that. I just literally got a message from Joe, from, of course, the brothers Joe and Jared, who just sent me a text. John, you're going to love this. They said, I need 50 of these stat. So I immediately sent them to your website so you can check them out. So I hope that is helpful to you to get a lot of these folks to know this is out there. But this is a cool thing. And if you have kids who have a hard time holding their pencil, you should check them out for this as well. To sharpen it. Now, you have to invent a sharpener for this. I'm looking, it's like, how do you create a sharpener for this? Did you see this, Roland? You have to, I mean, the way that it's designed is like a teardrop. You have to create like a.
So do you have to push it?
Yeah, like what? No, you don't push it. It's like a regular pencil. It's got wood around it, but the lead is at the top or the bottom of the teardrop.
Yep.
But if you get like a, what do you call a handheld sharpener? But if you get it in the shape of this, you have to make one exclusively for this.
Yeah, they might already have one.
They may have one. You know what? He might. I have to look at the website because I didn't get a chance to do that.
You have to be able to use it, right?
Yeah. Well, they said what the contractors do. They just take their razor blade and they just, chip it down, like that. Which again, contractors have that little nifty, razor blade, so they can do that. But this is, I'm holding it in my hand. I'm going, this is like so natural for me. I hate holding pens and pencils. And I love the way this feels. There's no pressure on any part of the fingers. It's absolutely brilliant. I love it. I mean, I'm serious. I love it. It makes me want to write. I don't know why, but it just does. It feels that good.
What you gonna write?
I don't know, whatever. I'm going to write some rhymes in my rhyme book like I did back in the days. Let's get another check of traffic and weather. Mark Christopher. He used to write rhymes, too, back in the days. My name is Mark, and I'm here to say he's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Did you ever take up any rapping? In fact, who is your favorite rap group? Have I asked you that before?
Oh, Ludacris. I love Ludacris.
You like Ludacris?
I like the humor in his rapping.
I will tell you this. I'll never forget I was doing, it had to be 2001 or something around there. Very early Ludacris before he was a big deal.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Weird. Okay, there we go. We're back. Reese on the radio, live WTIC News Talk 1080. I'm over here playing with the HandyScribe pencils. Ooh, I forgot to mention. And they come in different colors. This one's in red, and this one is in silver, so that you can use it on different surfaces. Aha! In the regular, lead one, right? So they have different colors, so you can use them on particular surfaces. I've totally forgot about that part. I just tried to call Lori Ann, and let her know that. Well, anyway, I'll try her later on. I sent her a text. They may be busy at the office. I'll get to your phone calls in a second as well. Stand by for that. But I want to read a letter that I just got. And this one is from State Representative Gail Mastrofrancesca. And she was with us when we went to Washington, D.C. And she writes, first, I want to thank you for joining us at the Connecticut booth in Washington and for all of your hard work. It is amazing what people can accomplish when they come together for a common purpose. It truly was an incredible experience and one that I will always cherish, as will I, Gail. I was listening to your comments today regarding the recent reports about Seyo being a registered voter. As a ranking member of the Government Administration and Elections Committee, I wanted to let you know that House Republican leader Vin Candelora, Government Oversight Committee ranking members Devin Carney, and I sent letters yesterday to the auditors of public accounts, the Commissioner of the Department of Motor Vehicles, and the Secretary of State, Stephanie Thomas, requesting answers regarding this matter. It will be interesting to see how they respond. I will be sure to keep you updated as we receive additional information. Please know that I share your frustration. As the ranking member of this committee, I have been engaged in an ongoing effort to strengthen our election integrity as it continues to be a significant challenge. I have attached copies of the letters for your reference, and we will get in touch with it. I did see that. Also, I received information at one of the letters that was sent to Stephanie Thomas, which I will read to you now because we're not sure if it's ever going to make the public, but it reads, Dear Secretary Thomas, we write with regard to the recent story about a non-citizen who received a Connecticut's driver's license and then made it onto the voter rolls. We understand that Senator Richard Blumenthal's office is contacting relevant state agencies and seeking information. So that we may better explain this matter to our constituents, are you looking into how this happened? Any information you can provide would be very helpful in our future communications to constituents who have questions. Thank you for the work you do on behalf of the Connecticut residents. So that is the letter that is being sent out. Now, again, they can play the whole role. Oh, yes, the elections are secure. And nobody's cheating. No, we don't care about that. Let's make this very focused. We don't care about election integrity. We'll deal with that at another time. We need to find out if there is a system at play. Maybe someone screwed up. Maybe a lot of people screwed up. Maybe one person screwed up a lot. Who cares? This happened for a reason. And let's not tiptoe around the obvious. No one's asking this. And by the way, if you're not listening to me, I shouldn't have to tell seasoned reporters how to do this. Listen closely to what I'm telling you. Okay? Everybody stop acting like a donut. You're not a dumbass. Don't pretend to be one now. Okay? You are using the term driver's license without context. Let me help you. Did Seyo get a legitimate driver's license or an illegal alien's version of which? A drive-only license. There is a distinction. When you are reporting on it, tell us the difference. Because it begs the question, if someone is going in for a drive-only license because they are illegal or undocumented or whatever nonsense you want to call them, there should not be any process for that individual to ever meet a voter roll. Do we understand each other? That's journalism. Everybody keeps using the word driver's license, and he inadvertently got on the register. Inadvertently got a registration to vote. No, there should be something in place, right? Right. Drivers only should never have a question by anybody that says, hey, you want to register to vote? It's not a part of the process. Driver's license, yes. Drive-only license, no. So when we're trying to figure that out, stop tiptoeing around it, because that's what we want to know. Maybe you know, maybe I haven't articulated it well enough. Maybe no one else is. I'm trying it. I'm trying to explain it to you like literally, like I'm talking to 6-year-olds. Did Seyo have a legitimate driver's license like American citizens get? Yes or no? And then he was put on a voter rolls. Okay, fine. That's obviously a problem. We need to work on that. Then it begs the question, how the hell did he get a driver's license? And if that isn't the case, was it a drive-only license? And if that happened, how the hell did he get then put into voter rolls? Okay? This isn't rocket science, folks. It's that simple. I told you, don't let me get involved. I mean, why would I rely on you? I just have to do it myself. Like, isn't that what I got to do? Do I just have to do it myself? Damn you people. Dave, thanks for holding. What's up, buddy?
Well, hey, happy, nice day today. I just want to say that the thing with the DMV voter registration, that's been around, I don't know, 25, 30 years.
I'm sure it has.
And if you don't check the box for affiliation, guess what box gets checked?
Democrat.
Good guess.
You're probably right, my friend. You're probably right.
I know I'm right. I have friends that work in DMV, and I know I'm right.
He couldn't decide because he's a Democrat. That's their reasoning.
Don't check a box. He must be a Democrat.
Right. He couldn't decide if he was a Democrat or a Republican because of his indecision. Democrat.
Right, because he doesn't know what he's doing. So obviously we got to take care of this guy.
That's right. That makes sense. Hey, look, that reasoning makes sense to me. That lines up with what I think.
Hey, listen, I want to put a Ryan Fazio update out real quick.
Yeah?
He should be calling you more, number one, Ryan. Call Reese more.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, everybody wanted him to reach out to us today, but apparently he was busy. That's okay. He's got plenty of time. This story's not going anywhere. Let me grab a couple more. Yes?
Real quick, this is what I'm calling about. I got a quick text this morning. He has a Republican town committee headquarters set up on Pine Street in Forestville, Bristol area. They're taking signatures for a petition so he can get on the independent line and be on 2 lines on the ballot.
Okay.
And that would really help him a lot, which is why I said you should call him and get him to.
Well, get him on. Tell him to call me so I can. Let me grab some more before I get out of here. Gary's in Southington. How we doing, sir?
Hey, Reese.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to tell you a quick story about that, about the motor vehicle. So I wasn't registered to vote for a long time.
Okay.
And this is like 15 years ago, maybe more. I went to the motor vehicle, and they said, would you like to register to vote? I said, okay, I did. So then when I went down to the town hall, when it was voting time in Southington, the guy in the voter thing said, oh, you're registered as a Democrat.
Wow.
I almost fell on the floor. I said, what? It's a true story. They're so corrupt, it's unbelievable.
Joe,
they just do whatever the heck they want. Well, why would they assume that?
You were registered to vote, and you didn't pick a party affiliation, and they assumed it for you.
I know. I think I did, unless the way they worded it.
Right.
You know what I mean? That I thought they weren't going to do that. And that's what I think what happened, is the way they present it, you don't think that they're going to pick it.
Ah.
So I thought it was just a general, yes, I'd like to register.
Right.
And then you go down and register at the town hall in your town.
Right.
So, yeah, it happened to me. I tell this story all the time. They're so unbelievably communist corruption is crazy.
That is wild.
I want to add, so I'm doing the lesson tonight at CR, so I hope you can make it. I'm doing it on...
I can't tonight, but you know what? I'm going to plan on being there in the next couple of weeks, but I'm not going to be able to make it tonight, man. I'm sorry.
All right. This is the first time I'm doing a lesson. You're going to miss
I'm
it.
sorry. You let me know too late. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.
You got it. Morgan, last but not least, today, how you doing? You got a minute.
Good. How about yourself, Reese?
I'm fine. How can I help you?
I was just going to, the point that I haven't heard you make yet about the slush fund low-income housing.
Oh, yeah.
Is the vice versa point is that they could hire these gentlemen and get 4 times the amount of work or houses, and then it would actually be affordable housing instead of creating their own slush fund.
Good point.
There's a lot more opportunity for them where if you gave one of these gentlemen a contract for 100 units at $100,000 a unit, you would probably be able to make a deal and get it down to whatever $90,000 a unit. Because they're contractors and they're smaller companies. In essence, you're not dealing with the big bloated companies that always sort of overcharge for their service. Now you're dealing with a small mom and pop. Those price points are always different. So it would be true affordable housing if you actually use the guys that are, again, small and private. Exactly. I just wanted to make sure that point was brought up, that yes, they are getting very screwed, very much in the scenario, but it's the vice versa point that you talk to someone in the higher ups. It's like, hey, you can use these guys if you pay them,
right?
And they can do 4 times the amount of work for what you were paying the other guys.
Exactly.
Your good old boys discount or whatever.
Exactly. Well, the beauty of it is, right, you're saving taxpayer money to boot, right? Because you're helping small businesses and you're helping out the taxpayer.
Yeah, so I just want to make that point before you go.
No, I appreciate it, man. It's a great point. That's why I said my audience is smart as hell. I rely on them. Thank you, Morgan.
Thanks, Mike.
You got it. As I always say, folks, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. And remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your minds. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. The apple pie arrives tomorrow. Roseanne will be here. And we've got some guests coming in, and also J. Ellen Jones's mom says that she will call in tomorrow. So we'll hopefully, Godspeed, she'll be up for it, and we'll hear from her tomorrow. Stay well, be well, Jessica, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Mark Christopher, he's getting you home. He's in the BPS Lawyers Traffic Center. Good night, sir.